Today I'm going to talk about the statement that is, should all schools be required to teach all the students on how to swim, and also about different different self-defense techniques, highlighting the history of swimming and self-defense techniques, the main causes or main problems of not learning the swimming and self-defense techniques, and also about the solution to this problem. Starting with the swimming history, swimming was known to be made by ancient Greek people on 2600 BC, which was birth of before Christ, and that is actually known to be a class that was included for every students for every semester since their elementary school, which started for them when they were like 4 years old, and that is actually known to progress each level when they learn for each semester. That becomes more advanced in each semesters. So that was known to be a mandatory class that was needed to be taken by every student since elementary school till the middle school, and they usually become a really good swimmers after that. That is how the swimming history is known to be. Now, telling you the self-defense techniques. Self-defense techniques is known to be made in 1000 years ago by some Anglo-American people, but it is also known to be taken or derived from or got inspiration from a lot of karate and kung fu steps. There are a lot of karate and kung fu steps which is known to or done to defend ourselves from the enemy. So they have Anglo-American people thought that they have got a lot of inspiration from karate and kung fu steps to make the self-defense techniques in Anglo-American people. So these are the history of swimming and self-defense techniques. Now I've talked everything about the history. Now I've talked about the history of self-defense techniques and the swimming. Now I'm going to talk about the major causes of problems made by the swimming and self-defense techniques. So starting with the problem with swimming, the World Health Organization on 2021 December said that almost 400,000 people every year in the world die just because they doesn't know swimming and then getting injured or getting into water and getting in problems in water. Almost 400,000 people. That's a reason done by the World Health Organization. And they say almost nearly 5 to 6 billion people doesn't know how to swim. And these are the calculations done for ages who are like above 15 years old. So you can understand there are a lot of zero age of 1 to 14 years old. There are a lot of going to be them who doesn't even know swimming. And the main problem is that we all know that there are a lot of people, like as we usually go for the swimming, the beaches and stuff, and then go off their travel for fun. But we can understand there are a lot of floods happening right now. Like that can actually make the whole city go down into the water. At that moment, if he doesn't know swimming, that would actually be a big problem for the person to survive themselves. So not just a flood, like if you're going in water and suddenly a shake come up, suddenly a wave come up, and then actually tilt up your whole boat or tilt up yourself, and then it actually is going to cause the whole people to die, obviously. So there are a lot of people having not injured themselves and died themselves just because of swimming. There are a lot of people who know swimming well and getting died just because of waves and sea problems. So we can understand like it's going to be really hard for those people who can doesn't even know swimming to understand like and to go for like a lot of people when the waves come up and then doesn't know what to do and then they just go inside the water, they die. A lot of people, and it happens like a lot of times, and that's we can see like almost like 400,000 people die every year just because of doesn't know swimming and getting died in the waters. And next, talking about the self-defense techniques. So the self-defense techniques, when I'm talking about the problems, we can actually know that there are a lot of people who comes to us or come to a lot of people around the public and then show the knife or show the gun and take money from them, or trying to hit the person and then take money from them, or try to come home, does robbery and then shoot and kill a lot of people. A lot of people die with that, just almost like WHO, which is a World Health Organization, also says that almost nearly a million people or to 2 million people die just because they doesn't know how to attack or doesn't know how to defend themselves from the attack they usually get. That's a lot more than we can even think about, a lot more than swimming. and that is known to be almost like the second or third unintentional injury problems that's happening right now in the world, which is third biggest cause or the problem which is done to people for dying right now. So we can understand that it's really hard to people do that, so it can be included as a class. So these are the biggest problems of the swimming and the self-defense techniques. So today, now I've talked about the major problems or causes of the self-defense techniques and the swimming. Now I'm going to talk about the problem solution for people who doesn't know swimming and people who doesn't know self-defense mechanisms. The main thing is that as the ancient Greek people who did, like that when people usually they had that swimming and self-defense techniques as like a class, and then which each semester goes on, they actually advance the classes that actually make them feel more pretty good at water. And they say that they stop it at middle school, which makes the students more perfectly good at water and self-defense water. They don't do self-defense mechanisms. But I'm saying is that if that comes up again, even now there are a lot of ancient Greek schools going on right now. They usually teach swimming as a part of class, which is mandatory till the middle school, which gives this swimming is actually a lot more important because it actually gives us like a lot more strength, actually makes us cognitively and getting us a good reflex in terms of this can actually help us in developing our skills. Swimming is a great thing to help us developing our skills, and this can also make us know that there are a lot of waves flooding coming up in the world is going never going to stop because it's natural calamity. It always happens again and again. And if these people know how to swim, this can actually help them to getting into big problems. When we go to beaches, it can actually be a great thing. We can jump in the water or come up again rather than just sitting on the sitting on the bike, or if some flood or water shaved or like or the waves come up, it's going to be a big problem because they're going to come up in the water, come down in the water, and they're going to die obviously, or they're going to get injured really bad because it's really hard to survive if you don't know how to swim. So swimming can be a great thing if that included in the school. That would be a great thing because students can learn it, and the number of deaths, number of injuries every year happening just because of doesn't know swimming can actually be decreased. Now looking at the self-defense mechanisms, as I said, right now robberies, pickpocketing, showing knife, showing guns, and actually a lot of people taking money from us, not from us, a lot of people taking money from the public. So this can be like stopped because if we know how to defend ourselves, there are a lot of people. I also know that a lot of people they gets bullied at school or college just because how they look, and they get into fight, and then these people doesn't know what to do. Like they just get stuck in that and they just get hit. So when they know like how to defend themselves from those people, they can actually defend themselves, and then they can make like a good impression on the people and say that they also know how to self-defend, and these people can stop getting brutal with them. That would be a great thing to understand. In conclusion, today I've talked about the self-defense mechanisms and uh, talked about the statement, should all schools be required to teach their students on the how to learn swimming and self-defense mechanisms, regarding or highlighting the history of swimming and self-defense mechanisms, the problems or causes made by the self-defense and not problems or causes made by not learning swimming and self-defense techniques, and also about the major solution to this problem of not learning swimming and not knowing the self-defense techniques. Thank you.